So this video is for anyone that feels like an imposter. They're just someone waiting to be found out. If you feel like that and you're a leader, this video is for you. I just want to start by an opening quote. This is from Maya Angelou. I've quoted her before on Leadership Live. She is awesome. I have written 11 books, but each time I think, uh-oh, they're going to find out now. I've run a game on everybody, and they're going to find me out. How many of us as leaders can relate to that feeling of, yes, we've done things and we can do things, but we just feel like, we're imposters and that we are not, really where we belong and where we fit in. So this is what we're going to be discussing today. Every leader needs to know this one thing. And if you stay with me to the end, I will share this very one thing that has to do with overcoming the imposter syndrome. Unfortunately, we all feel like imposters every now and again. And this one thing is what is important for every leader to know. And I'm very excited to share that with you. So stay locked and tuned in. Welcome to Leadership Live. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Ndumi, and I help leaders or people find their freedom in leadership. I believe that everyone should be free to be who they need to be and do what they want to do. And that's what this channel is about. So if that sounds interesting to you too, please make sure that you subscribe and hit the like button for me as we get into today's topic. You can join us every Wednesday. We're here on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube live. So whichever platform you're joining us from, welcome. Please comment down below where you're watching from, whether this is live or on the replay. I make sure that I go and read all the comments. So make sure as well to leave any questions that you might have regarding the topic that we have discussed today. So how many of us feel like this man here, where we have a mask and people see us through this mask and we feel like we're hiding or that we've got something to hide. So this is what we'll be discussing today, the imposter syndrome. So the feeling is not as uncommon as you may think. I was actually reading statistics that say almost 70% of every leader suffers from this imposter syndrome at one time or another. And in fact, by the time you've actually named something, it means that, there are enough people that are going through it for you to be able to name it. So have you ever felt that, no matter how hard you work, no matter how much you achieve, that, you feel like an imposter? And to be honest and be real with you, I do feel that myself, that, 2020, for example, has been a tough year, but it's been a good year. And I've achieved quite a lot of things even now. Last week, the reason we didn't have our Leadership Live is because we're wrapping up a construction project that I was project managing. And it was quite a big project for a big client, and they enjoyed it, and the team did well in putting that project together. However, even when I think about that and that breakthrough and that, the good thing that I've had in my life and that it's gone well, I still feel like, I'm posing. I still feel like an imposter. And, it's like that for lots of leaders, that we feel like we don't deserve the things that we have. We don't deserve the leadership positions that we've been given. We don't deserve, the recognition. All of that stuff is something that, I personally, and I'm sure lots of people personally feel. So that's why the topic for this week's Leadership Live is the imposter syndrome. And if you've been watching the previous, we've been talking about the ugly side of leadership. So this is the last in that series, in the ugly side of leadership. And we hope that it will help you. If it helps you, please let us know, like, and yeah, please leave a comment. So let's go into what is the imposter syndrome. What is the imposter syndrome? How do I know that I have this imposter syndrome? So, the imposter syndrome is believing that you're not skilled or accomplished enough despite having evidence to the contrary. So, like I said before, there are things that you do and it doesn't feel like enough. You can successfully complete a project. In fact, this is not even, I've done this is my second big project like this for this client, but I still feel like an imposter. I still feel like, you know, I got away with something. And if you look at this picture, it's like a woman, she's juggling everything, right? She's able to do everything she needs to do, but she still does not feel adequate. It's wow. She can do her home, deal with stuff from the house. She can manage her time, her cell phone, children, work, and all that. But deep down, she doesn't feel like she's enough. Deep down, you don't feel like you're enough. I don't feel like you're enough. We feel like we're just posing. So that is one of the things. Even though we've got a track record, so it's not like I'm really faking it and pretending I can do stuff when I can't. You're actually getting results, but at the end of the day, you feel like it's not really worth it. And then you have difficulty believing or internalizing praise, and that's something that I also struggle with big time. That I just, no matter what, I really struggle for people to say good job, that was good, because I'm hypercritical of myself. I think too much into it. I'm like, yeah, that was good, but I kind of messed up here, kind of messed up there, and that is what is really a hallmark figure or hallmark trait of someone that is suffering from this imposter syndrome. You can't believe that anyone would praise you for doing anything right. So this is it. Outside you've got the face and you're smiling and you're happy. When people say thank you and congratulations, you smile. But inside you're like, but if only you knew that I don't feel like I'm the person that you're congratulating, or I don't feel like I'm worthy of that praise. Number three, you feel like you faked it to success. You feel like you faked your way, that you just made it, by accident. It was a fluke, it was a mistake for you to get to where you've gotten to. And if you've got these feelings, it's definitely a sign of the imposter syndrome. And then lastly, you feel afraid that one day you're going to be outed as a fraud. One day it's going to come all tumbling down, and people are going to say, you are the fake, you're the fraud, you're the one who you've been fooling us so long this whole time, but no more. We were onto you, we've caught onto you. And that's the pressure that someone dealing with imposter syndrome has to deal with. They have to feel like they don't know where they belong, they don't know if they fit in, they don't know what the things that they're going through really are internal, a lot of internal struggles rather than external struggles. So let's go through and see what the symptoms are as well of the what the symptoms are of imposter syndrome. So, have you ever wondered why so many leaders do the things that they do? Maybe it's just a symptom of the imposter syndrome. So, let's go have a look at that. So, one of the symptoms is anger. So, when people just lash out, and you wonder why, where it's come from, and sometimes that can be a symptom of someone who's suffering from the imposter syndrome, someone who feels like they don't belong, someone who feels like they're just, getting by. Their reaction is anger because of that frustration and pent down, I don't know how to put it, but inside of themselves, they feel concealed and, almost trapped. So they lash out in anger. Perfectionism is another good one. This is a good symptom of someone who is suffering from the imposter syndrome because they believe that in order to be accepted, in order to be recognized, they have to get everything perfect. Are you someone like that? Are you someone who struggles with perfectionism and getting things perfect at every time and making sure that, every I is dotted and every T is crossed and you're hyper perfect, maybe this could be a sign that you're dealing with imposter syndrome. Then we have the standard things: dress to impress, people that want to look flashy, who wear the best clothes, who look the part all the time. They can't have one hair miss, they can't have, one strand out. They need to be looking fresh all the time. And there's nothing wrong with all these things, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting things to be done well. There's nothing wrong with being a bit emotional. Obviously, your anger needs to be controlled, but there's a bit of passion that is allowed. There's nothing wrong with dressing well, but there are people that use these things as a cover up for the things that they feel inside, for the inadequacies that they feel inside, the imposter syndrome inside of them. And then again, flashing with money. If you're from Zimbabwe, you'd know all about people like this. Yeah, let me leave it there because I don't want to fire myself. But yeah, there are lots of people that feel like they have to show you they've made it by showing you all the things they have, or the money, or the gadgets, all those things. And it's really to cover up an insecurity inside of them where they feel like they actually are not enough. They can't be that. So those are the symptoms. And then the last symptom is bravado. Those guys and gals who just want to get up and show and prove to the world that they can do the impossible. They can scale the world. They can, jump into the mouth of a lion, anything to show how brave and how strong and how, all these things, the ego gets the better of them. So that is another sign of someone that might be dealing with the imposter syndrome. I like what Dennis Waitley says here. It's not what you are that holds you back. It's what you think you are not. So that's it. It goes to our minds. Again, I said this is an internal process. It's an internal thing that people go through when they're dealing with the imposter syndrome. So in your head, it's the things that you think that you're not. You say, I can't be a leader. I can't be a businessman. I can't be a good mother. I'm not a good teacher. I'm not, you're dealing with the things that you're not rather than the things that you are. And when you deal with the things that you're not, when you look and dwell on your negatives, and it's right to do an honest assessment and understand where you're weak so that you can build up and be strong in that area. There's nothing wrong there. However, when we start to believe more in our weaknesses than we do in our strengths, that is when we actually now fall prey to the imposter syndrome. So it is not what you think you are that holds you back. It's not what you are that holds you back. It is what you think you are. So if you're getting any value from this video, wherever you're watching from, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, please give it a thumbs up. If it's beneficial for anyone else, please make sure you share this. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I'd also appreciate it if you could subscribe to this channel. It helps, all of this helps the YouTube algorithm especially, as well as the Facebook, to push it out to more people. So I really appreciate that. And if you've got time, you can follow me on social media. Everywhere it's at It's Ndumi, and you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And I look forward to catching up with people there and having conversations there as well on the DMs. So let's continue to how to actually overcome this imposter syndrome. So we've gone through figuring out what it is. We've looked at the symptoms of it, what it looks like, from the outside. And now we need to look at how to overcome it, because that is what is important. We need to overcome it, and it makes you a better leader. It makes you actually more free. And this channel is all about freedom. And once you get over this imposter syndrome, once you get over these feelings of inadequacy, as your role as a leader, again, it doesn't matter if you're a mom, a teacher, business person, entrepreneur, politician, pastor, we all go through these things. We all suffer from imposter syndrome one way or another. So number one way to realize is that you're not perfect. You're actually not perfect. And no one is perfect. But the thing is, you still have value. And your value needs to come across. What you have to bring to the table, no one else can bring to the table because there is only one you. And we're not trying to hype out your ego, but we're wanting you to realize that you are unique. You're fearfully and wonderfully made, as the good book says, and you are the only one. But your imperfections are what actually make you perfect. It's what makes you unique and what makes you who you are. So you need to realize that you're actually not perfect, and you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get things 100% right in order to be accepted. You don't have to always, play the part in order for people to bring you in and to make you feel like you belong, because you are already, perfect in your imperfections. Just like the picture of these carrots here. If you look at them, they still have the same nutritional value as a perfect looking carrot. And they're all different. They're all unique. They all have their different quirks, shapes, sizes, all of that. But the nutritional value in the carrot is still exactly the same as one that looks perfect. So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. Okay. Next, we say find out and deal with past hurts. So you need to go back and look at some of the things that have happened in the past, figure that out, and say, these hurts that I'm dealing with, how have they affected me now? Because some of these hurts, linger on with us and stay with us and actually perpetuate this imposter syndrome even more. So we need to go back and look at past hurts. I mean, if I'm to be real and to be honest with you, one of my past hurts is I grew up chubby my whole life. Don't think this happened overnight. Took a lot of years to get here, but I grew up chubby, right? So when we're playing games, I was always the last one to be picked for games. If we're playing soccer, what are the games that we used to play? Red Rover. If you know those games, if you're Zimbabwean, you know those games, please, put them down in the comment section. But, all those games, and you pick sides, 1-1-1, and I'd be always one of the last ones to be picked. And that really affected me because when I was picked, it felt like I was just a consolation prize, or I was picked because there were no other choices. And then that affected the way I thought about myself and the work that I was doing and all of that stuff. And it really was detrimental. So we need to find out some of these past hurts, some of these things that we've suffered from in the past, so that we can deal with them going forward, so that we no longer have to suffer from this imposter syndrome. And you need to talk to someone. Just talk to someone. That's the easiest way, to get help. Just talk to someone, find anyone that you can talk to. And when you're watching on the replay, I can put a video up there for you, which will help. It's called Mental Health for Leaders. It's a really good video that helps you deal with your mental health side of your leadership. So definitely check that out there when you can after this stream. But you need to make sure that you're looking after yourself. Next, realize that you don't need permission. And this one was a really big one for me, that, as imposters, we're always waiting, like I say, with the example of my childhood and not being picked for games. We always feel like we need someone to call us onto their team. We need someone to give us approval to join them. We need someone to validate us by giving us permission to achieve the dreams, the goals, the vision that we have for our lives. But no, that's actually not the case. You just need to start, because no one gives you permission to start. No, you don't need anyone's permission. You are good enough by yourself. You're good enough to do the things that you want to do. You're good enough to achieve the things that you want to achieve. So you don't need other people's permission. This problem of wanting to please people can really put you in that box, because if no one gives you validation, if no one gives you the things that you need to succeed, then you won't succeed, because no one has given you the permission to succeed. So if you do want permission, guess what? Here it is right now. You have the permission to succeed. In fact, type in the comments, I give myself permission to succeed. If you're watching now, type, I give myself permission to succeed, because that is what you need to do. You need to release yourself from that. You really need to release yourself from other people's expectations over your life. You need to release yourself from the way other people view and think about you, because they don't know you. No matter how close they are, it can be a spouse, unfortunately, sometimes. It can be close family members. It can be colleagues. It can be people at church. It can be anyone. And they want to put you in a box, and you don't let them. Give yourself the permission to be the person you know in your heart, in your spirit, you know who you're meant to be. So you have the right to be that person. So go ahead and be that person. Number 4, how to overcome imposter syndrome. Don't fear failure. The fear of failure itself is a trap, because like I said before, you're not perfect. So everyone is going to fail from one point to another somehow. You're either going to let yourself down, you're going to let people down, and it's okay sometimes to just fail, but to fail forward, to let your failure not hold you back, to not be scared to fail, because the fear of failure is a big shackle. It is something that will hold you back from going out and achieving the things that you've given yourself permission to do. And that's it. Maybe you're scared to fail because no one really backed you, but it's okay. You backed yourself. You're not afraid to fail, because you fail forward, and it's not failing, it's learning. And you only fail when you fail to learn, or you fail to get up. So make sure that you deal with this fear of failure in order to then overcome this imposter syndrome. And then lastly, and the most important thing, the one thing that every leader should know is you are enough. I don't think leaders are told today that they're enough. There's no one, like I was saying before in a previous live stream, that it's lonely at the top. If you're a leader, it's probably lonely. So no one has ever told you that you're enough. And today, this whole live stream is for me to tell you that you are enough. You're enough. You're perfect in your imperfections. You have a goal and a destiny and dreams that only you can fulfill. And you shouldn't rob yourself, and you shouldn't rob us as people that will benefit from your vision, dreams, and goals by feeling that you are not enough, because you are enough. And I want to encourage you today. And even though you feel overwhelmed, and even though 2020 has been a difficult year, and even though people are betting against you, and even though the economy might seem like it's against you, I want you to know that you are enough. You're enough. We don't have to add. Yes, it's good to learn as you grow. It's good to have resources as you grow. But at the end of the day, you are enough. You have what it takes. You are able to do it. And this is the one thing that leaders need to know. This is the one thing that holds us down when we suffer from the imposter syndrome, because we don't think we're enough. We don't think we have what it takes. We don't think that we can do the job. We don't think we can get it done. But I'm here to tell you from the bottom of my heart that you are enough. So if you're in the comments, just type it, please. I am enough. Just type it. I am enough, because you are enough. And you need to know it. And you need to say it to yourself, that you, even after this stream, you got homework. You're going to go into a mirror and you're going to look at yourself and you're going to say, I am enough. And you're going to say it until you believe it, because you are enough. You have everything that you need to succeed. And I want you to succeed, and I'm excited for you to succeed. This is it. You can win. You can get your goals. You can reach the prize. All you need to know is that you're able, you're positioned, and you're skilled. You're able because you're physically able. You've got the energy, you've got the strength, you've got the drive, you've got the will to do it. You're positioned because you've got your skills, your talents, your workplace, wherever you're located. You're positioned where you are in the company that you're in the family that you're in the church that you're in, wherever you are in, you are already positioned and you're skilled. They're the things that, like we said, that you don't feel like you can do it, but you have done it and you've gotten results before. You've got the skills, you're able to do it. So go out and do it. They say that we are blind to our own skills. We are blind to the things that it's called the curse of knowledge. You can Google that. The curse of knowledge is that when we know something, we take it for granted and we assume that everyone else knows that same thing. But it's not the truth. The things that you know that I will never know unless you come and tell me, unless we have dialogue, unless we share, unless we are open to give and to receive, then we can actually get the most from each other. So that is very important to know that you are enough. I want to share in closing these two scriptures that really helped me overcome the imposter syndrome. And it's very important that I share these scriptures with you because they really affected my life and they help me when I feel like I'm feeling down with imposter syndrome. So the first one is from Acts 17, verses 26 to 27, which says, "And he made from one man every nation of mankind to live on all the face of the earth, having determined and allotted periods and boundaries of that dwelling place." So God actually, made from one man every man. So you were made, and then to live on the face of the earth, and then He determined, allotted the periods and the boundaries. So the period is 2020. You're alive right now, 2020 going to 2021 and beyond. Born at such and such a time, death date already set, and that's the period God allotted for you. So you know that you were born for such a time as this. This is your time because God has made it your time. And not only has He put us in time, but He's also given us our boundaries. So that's our location. I'm here, I'm live from Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, and this is my location. This is my time. This is where I'm meant to be. These are my boundaries. My family, that's my allocation. That's where I am. Those are my boundaries. So the places that I am, my dwelling place, is what God already has for me. That they should seek God and perhaps feel their way towards Him and find Him, because He's actually not far from each one of us. And that just shows the love of God for you, that He wants you to seek Him and to find Him. And He's actually not far away from you. And when you feel far and alone, because this isolation, this imposter syndrome tends to isolate people. And when you're isolated, you feel alone, but you're not alone. God is with you. God is not far from each one of us. And then second scripture that I really love is Ephesians 2, verse 10, which says, "For we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God has prepared beforehand that we should walk in them." So this then goes into what I do with my life, how I work, because, remember, imposter, no matter how much you do, no matter what you do, it's never enough. You don't feel like you've done well. But this is going to tell you, the scripture tells you that God has actually created all your good works for you to do. So we're not saved by our good works. Sorry, I'm now getting a bit preachy, but it's good for you to know. I really want to bless you with this today, is that It's not about, you know, the works that you do that get you into heaven. But once you're saved, God gives you the good works to do, right? So it's not that I'm going to do good works and now I'm right before God. It's because I'm right before God, I'm able to do these good works. So this is it. Today, God has good works for you to do, good works that He has prepared beforehand that you should walk in them. So I can't come and do your good works. I shouldn't have to come and do your good works, just like you can't come and do my good works, because God has prepared our good works for us in advance. So the feeling of insecurity also goes away, right? Because I know that no matter what is mine, what is yours is yours. The feeling of competition goes away because I'm not competing with you. I've got my stack, I've got my things that are mine. And if God gives you bigger things than me, then God bless you and enjoy them. But what I have is mine. What God has given me is mine, and what God has given you is yours, and you should walk in them. So I really hope that this has blessed you. I hope that you are, enjoying this last episode of Leadership Live for 2020. Please let me know in the comments if this has blessed you. Let me know if there's anything that I've missed. I really love to hear from you. I really want to hear from you. So let me know. But I want to thank you for 2020. I want to thank you for those that have supported and watched. I don't take any of you for granted. I really appreciate you just being here to listen, and I really hope that I've been able to, to help you out even just a little bit, If there's been a little bit of help, please let's talk in the DMs. Like here we have all my social media right there for us. So please let's chat in the DMs. I really want to connect. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear what good things are happening with you. So thank you very much for a good year. We'll see you in 2021, and we've got some good surprises lined up. I just hope that it comes to fruition. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you have a Merry Christmas with your families and your friends, and you come into 2021 safely. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the other side. Take care. Thank you for watching. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you watch some videos that I have for you.